Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Glenn? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you, Tyler?
Doing great, brother. Thanks
Yeah,
for coming in,
you are
man.
doing great, man.
Yeah?
Definitely.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying to get it in, you know what I mean? Trying to get these podcasts off the ground, man. I appreciate coming in.
For sure. I appreciate you inviting me, man.
Of course. I want to get your story.
Yeah.
Met you in the gym, and haven't seen you around for rolling. Haven't come in for the gym
I
yet?
have been missing the mats really, really badly. Honestly, the only excuse I have is just this business that I started.
Yeah.
It's been really like time consuming.
Keto Chef, yeah?
Keto Chef meal prep, yeah.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's going very well, actually. It's been about a year since I officially opened with an actual restaurant. It started out as a little side thing out of my kitchen at home. I was working at a recovery center as a counselor, and then, so can I tell a little story about how that kind of evolved? So I've struggled with weight like my whole life, like when I was, I got injured when I was 16 years old, snowboarding, and then I put on like 50, 60 pounds because I messed up my knee and I couldn't really move. And
yeah, snowboarding's a bitch.
Yeah, it was a pretty ugly wipeout. I tore some ligaments in my knee. And anyways, I was on crutches for like 4 months or something. Put on a bunch of weight, and then I just struggled to get that weight off for years, and then I found like the low carb keto thing, and it actually gave me some results. It's weird that we're told like, it's starting to shift a little bit, but we're told that like fat is bad for you, and like the USDA guidelines and all that stuff of what we're supposed to eat. And so it was kind of contradictory to what I've been taught, like eat fat to lose fat, but it works. So yeah. So what had happened is I lost like over 80 pounds in like a year of doing keto. And
How old were you at the time?
this is just pretty recently. It's about four and a half years ago.
Okay.
And so I was working out of the gym in Planet Fitness, and this lady named Christina, she owns Body Tuners Gym downtown on 5th Street, and she approached me and asked me if I was a personal trainer. And I was kind of like, I thought it was a pretty cool compliment, and I was like, well, she's like, well, I see the way you work out. It looks like, like you're pretty serious about this, and, I'd love to have you at my gym as a trainer. And I was like, well, I'm not a personal trainer. I just don't want to get fat again. You know what I mean? So I work out hard, and I showed her my before and after pictures, and she's like, how'd you lose it? And I was like, keto. And she's like, what's keto? And so I told her about it, and she did her own research and got on keto, ended up losing like this 20 pounds of fat that she was having a hard time losing, even though she was like working out 3 or 4 times a day. And so a lot of her clients started to be like, how'd you do it? And then she told them, and so it just started out as a little side thing where she's like, hey, I have a customer who they said they'll pay you to like cook their keto meals because they don't have the time. And I was like, sure, I'll try it. You know what I mean? And so it started out with one little order that I, on the weekends, just cooked a week's worth of food for this lady, made up a little menu, and she got it and started getting some results. And then it went to like 2 people and then 3 people, and got up to where I was cooking for like 15 people a week out of my home kitchen out in Cutton. And yeah, and then
That's beautiful, man, how business just starts like that.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And then one of my customers one of my clients, Conrad, he's a Fat Guys Who Lift.
Is that a business or is that his nickname?
That's his Instagram page. Okay. He's kind of like an Instagram celebrity. He's like, if you haven't checked him out, you should definitely check him out. It's Fat Guys Who Lift on Instagram. And it's like motivational, workout humor. He's just kind of like a fat guy on a mission to be not fat and in shape, And so anyways, he had a lot of success doing the keto thing, the meal prep thing, and he lost like 60 pounds. And I was telling him, like, I'm at this point right now, like it's grown from here to here. I would love to take it and actually make it into a real business, but I'm kind of lacking the capital. It's something you'd be interested in helping out with. And he jumped on board, and we got busy, and we found a place out in King Salmon and got it like completely rolling official, and opened up in late November of last year. So we've been officially in business now for just a little over a year. So
nice, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good shit. Yeah, is it Is it like a sit down restaurant, or you just come in and pick up your food?
It's a to-go thing.
Okay, cool.
So I post a new weekly menu online on Instagram or Facebook. You can find us Keto Chef 1 on Instagram or Facebook. And so I post a new menu every week. I got like 2 breakfast options, 2 lunch options, 2 dinner options. And then you can just order however many of those meals you like to get you through the week. And you come pick them up on Wednesday. And yeah.
What's the pricing on that?
The breakfasts are $9, the lunches are $11, and the dinners are $13.
It's pretty moderately priced.
Yeah, it's pretty moderately priced, definitely.
Yeah, that's good.
And what's cool to me is how grateful the customers are for the service I provide, you know? Because if you're trying to, like, if you're a professional person, you know, like you either own your own business or you're working full time and you've got kids, and like it's hard enough just to come home and make sure your kids, you know, or your partner's got dinner covered. But if you're trying to do something completely different, it's tough to like do, you know, I got to cook 2 different things. So, but they're just so grateful. Like, thank you so much. It's like so convenient. I just come home and I've got my thing taken care of and I can deal with my kids and, you know, and so it's cool to, and then to watch the people's progress. That's the coolest thing. I've had customers who came to me that were, you know, it's a kind of a gross term, but morbidly obese. You know what I mean? They're on high blood pressure medication, diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, like just kind of desperate, you know? And to watch them lose weight, be taken off their medications, start like exercising, and like, it's cool. One of my most inspirational customers is Debbie. She owns, it's called TaylorMade downtown. And she's lost like over 60 pounds, and it's awesome. It's cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one thing is like people that are having those weight issues like that, when they try to take it, you know, because they know, let's say for instance, they know the keto diet is gonna help them, but for them to create their meal and stay on track with it is a whole other problem. And so, you know, you also come in with that solution, like, hey, I will prep it for you, and so you don't have to, you know, you take that equation or that problem out of their lives, and it probably helps them, you know, immensely.
Definitely.
That's cool.
And I mean, I think that I have a little YouTube channel, Keto Chef. You know, I started doing a bunch of YouTube channels, but like over this past year, just been focused on the business, so I haven't really done any of it. But, you know, I talk about my story on there, and just like the challenge of losing weight. You know, like somebody like yourself, I don't think you've ever had to like worry about weight loss, you know, as far as like getting fat, but it's probably one of the most challenging things that I've ever experienced, you know, honestly, because I tried for years, like working out super hard, like super low fat, calorie restricted, like miserable as hell. And I'd lose maybe 10 to 15 pounds, like tops, and then just kind of plateau and just get frustrated, you know, like I'm going to be fat my whole life, and like just to say, F it, go out and just eat the food I actually want to eat. And then that weight comes back, and was like stuck for years, you know. So keto's the only thing that I ever found that actually like really, really worked for me. And it's not just about the weight loss. It's just the energy levels, you know. Like I don't get that like afternoon crash anymore. Like I eat maybe 1 to 2 meals a day, and I'm good, you know. So yeah, I think keto is great for a lot of people. I don't think it's for everybody. Like I'm not like keto or
nothing
or bust, you know what I mean? I think whatever you're doing, if it works for you and it's like, then that's good, you know? Like I'm not going to try to make everybody go keto or tell everyone like, if you're not doing keto, you're not doing nutrition right, you know?
Yeah. I don't, can you even explain what keto is? Like the only thing I know about it is that it's like no carbs, right? So like no bread and things like that.
Yeah. It's a low carb diet, you know? The ketogenic diet was originally discovered as for epileptic children who had epileptic seizures. This doctor found that if he kept their macros, which is, you know, you've got 3 macros, you've got fat, protein, and carbohydrates are your 3 like major main macros. And he found that if he fed them a diet that was super high in fat, like 80 to 85% fat, 10 to 15% protein, and like less than 5% carbohydrates, that their seizures just were pretty much like reversed. They stopped having seizures. So And one of the side effects from the diet was weight loss. So they were losing a lot of fat, and plus their seizures were pretty much like null at that point, So, so people started to like use it for weight loss. It got kind of popularized in the 80s and 90s with the Atkins diet.
Yeah, is that pretty much keto, just renamed?
It's pretty much keto, yeah. Okay. It's definitely. Yeah. The only difference with Atkins is that it's a higher protein.
Like as far as like percentage?
Yeah, and it's like it's like less than like 10 grams of carbs a day, so. But keto is starting to evolve. So a lot of people get keto wrong. They associate those macros that were put down for epileptic children, but like the range, so it's pretty specific for the epileptic children as far as like if you're having seizures, if you up your protein too much on that, then like it's not going to have the same effect. But you can play with the macros a lot more if you're just doing it for like weight loss and health than you can if you're a kid with epileptic seizures. So like a lot of times online, everyone just like posts that like this is keto. It's got to be this percentage fat, this percentage protein, and if it's not, then it's like not keto. But it's really not true. When I first started, a little over 4 years ago, I was like 265 pounds, and I was scared to death of like the carbs, so I would just keep it like really, really, really low, and like, but I've started to learn that you can like start to up your carbs a lot more than people think on keto and still get the results, And so you can eat a lot more vegetables, fruits, like strawberries, blueberries, and stuff like that than a lot of people think,
Are those carbs? Veggies and fruits?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the fruits because of the sugars?
Yeah, because of the sugar.
What about the veggies?
The veggies, I mean, every vegetable's got carbs in it. Some are a lot like higher, like corn, something you're not going to mess with on keto.
Interesting. Yeah, I really don't know anything about carbs.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. So then what's the difference between like a vegetable carb and like a bread carb? Because rice and beans are carbs too, right?
Rice and beans are carbs, yeah. Those are, Tim Ferriss has this diet that he calls like the slow carb diet. And it's similar to keto, but he introduces like slow carbs into it. And like what a slow carb is like a bean or, where the glycemic index is low enough. So yeah, you're going to ingest some carbs, but it doesn't spike your blood sugar super, super quickly.
Whereas in sugar,
yeah, like if you eat a piece of white bread, like white bread's got a glycemic index that is just as high as like straight table sugar. So that's going to spike your blood sugar just as much. And, like people have a hard time getting that concept down, like healthy grains, like
whole wheat.
Just one sandwich with like a healthy sandwich, that bread's going to spike your blood sugar just as much as if you downed a soda. And that's really what keto is about, like regulating that blood sugar spike, because every time your blood sugar spikes, you get an insulin response. Your pancreas secretes insulin to shuttle all of that glucose out of your bloodstream, because we can only have like 2 milliliters of glucose in our bloodstream at any time, or else like we get like toxic, so the insulin comes in, it shuttles it into your organs, your muscles, and your body uses that. So we really want to like eliminate that blood sugar spike and the insulin response, because what happens with type 2 diabetes is that people it's just insulin sensitivity. Type 1 diabetes, Dante, has type 1 diabetes. And that just means your body's not producing enough insulin in the first place to take care of that blood sugar that gets in your bloodstream from ingesting carbohydrates. So,
so he shouldn't be eating bread then? Or maybe like a very small amount?
Yeah, he's eliminate foods that really spike his blood sugar high, because he's going to have to inject more insulin. Right. And, whereas type 2 diabetes is more of a over time, because humans really aren't made to like ingest that many carbohydrates on a daily basis over and over and over, because they start to get insulin resistant, which means, let's say you eat something that spikes your blood sugar, your pancreas has to secrete like 2 to 3 times more insulin just to deal with that, because your cells are like, they're resistant to it. You know what I mean? They don't, I feel like I'm not explaining this the right way.
No, you're doing good. Get the gist of it.
Yeah. And so type 2 diabetes is associated with just like long-term consumption of carbohydrates. Some people can eat carbohydrates, sugars, Twinkies, whatever, their whole life and not have any issues. Some people are a lot more sensitive to it. But the great thing about keto is that it literally reverses type 2 diabetes. Within like 2 months, your blood sugar is going to just level out. So if you're not ingesting many carbs, then your blood sugar starts to regulate. You know what I mean? It never really gets to a certain point too high. It doesn't really need the insulin to pull out any of the blood sugar. And you kind of like, you get, I don't want to say cured, but yeah, you get the type 2 diabetes like reversed. So you're not having the issue. And then you can start to ingest like more carbs and like restore your metabolic health pretty much,
And keto is short for ketosis, right?
Ketogenic, yeah.
Ketogenic. But isn't the whole point to like put your body into ketosis, something like that?
So it's like you're basically turning your body into like a fat burning machine. So the average American with a standard American diet is going to be a glucose burner. So your body's going to take all those carbohydrates you ingest, change it to glycogen, and then your body will your muscles will use that glucose glycogen for, all the energy it needs. Whereas if you starve your body of glucose, what happens, it's a survival mechanism that all mammals have. So if you're stuck out in the woods for a week and you've got nothing but water, within like 2 to 3 days tops, your body's going to realize that it's got no energy coming in, and then it will start to produce ketones out of your liver. And then your body, your brain, your muscles can use those ketones for energy. And they're actually a lot more efficient than glucose, as far as fuel for your body. You'll hear a lot of comparisons, like glucose is like throwing a bunch of kindling on a fire, whereas like ketones, it's like a big log, just a slow burn, and
I see,
a lot more steady energy.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, I mean, people will kind of call it like a fad diet, but it's not going anywhere, the Navy SEALs now are actually incorporating ketosis into their training, where if you are training as a SEAL, you're required to be in a state of ketosis. They've doubled their breathe time, their air hold time underwater with ketosis, because it slows down the rate of oxygenization in the blood. So, and then there's ultra endurance marathon runners that are using it now. Zach Bitter holds the world record for the fastest 100-mile ultra marathon, and he did it while in ketosis. So it's kind of cool. It's got a lot of not just weight loss benefits, but endurance benefits that a lot of people who are doing extreme sports are starting to realize. There's a lot of MMA fighters that are kind of converting to a more low carb diet. So yeah, it's got a lot of benefits to it.
And how do you know when you're in that ketosis state?
You can test it. There's a couple of different ways to test it.
Oh, okay.
They've got the easiest one is urine strips, and it's just a little strip, and you just pee on it. And if it turns any shade of pink, then you know that your body's producing ketones. And your body's not going to produce any ketones unless you're in a state of ketosis. So it's kind of your body's either going to burn either or. It's not. It's you're not going to be burning glucose and ketones at the same time.
Right. One or the other. And
there's a big marketing scam out there that's people are just preying on people's I guess what would you call it, inexperience or lack of knowledge.
Right.
There's all these things that they sell called exogenous ketones, where it's you can be eating a high carb diet, and then you can eat these exogenous ketones and pee on your strip or whatever, or take your blood sample, and we'll show that you've got ketones in your blood. So people are like, I'm in ketosis. But what's happening is if you've got glucose in your blood and ketones, your body's not going to mess with those ketones. It's just going to excrete them, get rid of them through your pee, through your sweat, through your breath, and it's going to burn glucose. So, but a lot of people they're I'm in ketosis.
Right.
Why am I not losing weight? Well, you're not actually doing it. You're not actually in ketosis. You're just introducing some ketones.
Trying to find that little cheat way out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I could talk about ketosis for a long time,
No, I'm digging it. I don't know anything about it. I mean, I've heard everything, but I mean, what I've learned so far is just don't believe everything you hear.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely don't want to believe everything you hear. You got to be kind of skeptical of stuff these days, you know?
Definitely.
I mean, and I was skeptical when I first heard about it, you know? But what really sold me on it was like was just people's like testimonies, you know? I was like, these are just like people that are getting these results. This isn't some like ad saying,
right,
hey, pay us this much and we'll tell you how to do it. This is just people saying like, I've discovered this and this is how it works. And so it was like, no one's really trying to sell me anything. Maybe there's something to this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you don't realize how much of a stress on your body like consuming all those carbohydrates is until you kind of stop doing it. Once you get into a state of ketosis and you've been like on keto for a month or two, and then you decide to say, you know what, man, I just want some pizza and ice cream, like, and you go out and eat that, you like wake up with a hangover, man.
Right.
Like literally just feel like I got drunk. Fuck, what happened, you know? And so you start to realize like how much cleaner you feel when you're burning ketones, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
What would be like the best breakfast in your opinion?
Best breakfast.
Or your favorite breakfast,
My
let's say that.
favorite breakfast is just straight up eggs and bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just good old eggs and bacon, man.
Hell yeah.
It's delicious. I never get tired of eggs.
Mm. But with no bread.
Yeah, with no bread. Actually,
Butter?
you can have bread.
Oh, okay.
I make almond flour bread
cool.
out at the restaurant. And so it's just bread, but it's like almond flour, coconut flour, super low carb. So you can have bread. You just can't have wheat bread, all that stuff.
Interesting.
So yeah, things that you don't want to mess with. You don't want to mess with like potatoes, carrots, fruits. Not many fruits. The only really fruits you can mess with are berries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, all that stuff.
But not like bananas or pears.
Yeah, bananas are no go, pears are no go. And,
what's the difference there?
Just the amount of glucose in there, you know?
Okay.
And like the glycemic index, like a banana's gonna spike your blood sugar super high, you know? Whereas like you could eat like a cup of berries and it's not gonna have a huge glycemic, you know, load. It's not gonna kick you out of ketosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me, I would have just grouped all fruits into one. Like, yep, fruits, veggies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough thing to try to... I just encourage everyone to do their own research, you know? Mm-hmm. And you learn more about it all the time. There's people on there that talk about this, like, you can... Like, people... There's just, like, haters everywhere, you know what I mean? Like, trolls, like, people like, that's not keto. Like, not keto? Like, what are you talking about? Like... There's too much protein in that. Like this thing called gluconeogenesis. When I first heard of it, like if you eat too much protein, that protein will get like turned into glucose, and that will kick you out of ketosis. And so I was like leery of eating too much protein for a long time, and it turns out that that's really not even an issue at all. The only time that is an issue is when you're not giving your body enough sustenance from like fats and stuff like that, and your body will take your own muscle and turn it into glucose for fuel. But yeah, minus all the technical parts of it.
Yeah. No, it's interesting to learn about all this stuff. I'm curious. I mean, obviously, it's got to be depending on like your how much you're exercising too, right? For when you're like actually in ketosis, or is that not a variable?
I mean, exercise it's definitely a variable. But I have a lot of customers who are, start out really overweight. They're sedentary, mostly like sitting at a desk all day, and their level of exercise is
a good word.
It's just minimal, you know what I mean?
Right,
And then they can still end up losing weight by just doing the keto diet and not exercising. But the great thing about keto is what starts to happen over time is that like even if you are sedentary, you start to do keto, your body just like, you start to feel cleaner, you start to get more energy.
Right. That encourages more.
Yeah.
movement.
And the next thing you know, it's like, I feel like doing something, you know what I mean? I've got energy, like, and so you start doing stuff. And I've noticed almost everybody who starts doing keto, like even if they don't work out at first, they're like within a month or two of it, they're inspired and like out there working out. Mm-hmm. So it's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Besides keto,
yeah.
You were saying when we first started, you're like, I haven't seen you down on the mats for a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I've been jonesing to roll badly. I exercise a lot. I work out at least 5 or 6 times a week, sometimes twice a day. And I still do my little solo drills, like practicing my shrimping and rolling around just to because that was such an eye opener for me. Jiu-jitsu is just as a life changer. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'll just be honest. Before jiu-jitsu, my sense of walking into a room and being like, I could take that dude. I could take that. That guy might give me an issue, but it's a weird thing. And just being honest about it. Walking through, I kind of size people up, and jiu-jitsu opened my eyes to you fucking never know.
Yeah, you never
who
know.
Could just just quickly, you know what I mean, take you out.
Yeah.
And so yeah, man, some of the examples of just the humility it brings. My first time when I walked into Lost Boys, I'd been I took Taekwondo for a few years when I was a kid, and it's just kind of always I don't know. I like to fight a little bit, you know what I mean? And I was a new kid, always at schools. I moved 5 different states by the time I was 12 when I was a kid. So I was always the new kid, and I was poor, and I was overweight. So I was people would just mess with me, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And my way of dealing with that was just to flash, you know what I mean? Well, fucking take off on somebody, and then they're don't mess with the new fat kid. He's crazy, you know what I mean? So
I guess that's a better reputation than, hey, mess with a fat kid. Yeah, he's not going to do anything. No, he's going to snap on you.
Yeah, he's going to snap on you. And so I guess I always had a high level of snap. You know what I mean? Some people, it just takes a long time for them to really get their anger going, where they're just going to be I don't know, start swinging. For me, it came a little easier. And I sound silly, but I always kind of prided myself on that. You know what I mean? I'll fucking go to 0 from 100 real quick. You're you don't want to piss me off. But yeah, so jiu-jitsu was really humbling for me. I walked into Lost Boys when it was first over here at the old gym. Mm-hmm. And man, dude, that first roll was just so humbling, because it's crazy to me how much energy, force, pressure you can push, and it's just to no avail. Right. And so I was this is fucking crazy, man. One of the most humbling experiences I had was with Gracie, the small female, you know what I'm talking about?
Grace?
Grace. Yeah, Grace.
Yeah.
She's probably got to be 120 pounds soaking wet. She's a purple belt. And I couldn't pass her guard for the life of me. And I was just what? You know what I mean? And I was putting everything. I'm 185 pounds, and I was shoving her knees, elbowing, just trying everything I could to pass her guard, and I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? I was just this is cool, man. Yeah, this is really cool. I got to learn this stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I trained part time for 6 months down there, and that was right when the business was starting to go from out of my kitchen to the full thing, and so the business kind of overwhelmed me, and I just stopped training. But I miss it a lot. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely, and you're way down there in King Salmon too, to come all the way up to Arcata. Yeah, I get
Andrew's been offering to just roll with me out in Eureka, because I bought a little 9-pack of those mats from the old gym, so I've got the mats. I can roll it out and just roll. And then Justin Harden was coming out to my house and just giving me some one-on-one lessons, and
nice.
I learned a lot from that guy.
Yeah, he's a wizard.
Wizard, man. Mm-hmm. He was just introducing me to stuff that I wasn't that I didn't learn at Lost Boys, just kind of the Danaher, the leg lock system, or even the theory behind it. And yeah, he opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. But yeah, jiu-jitsu is definitely it's a life changer, man.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to get back into it as soon as I don't know, I have more free time. I don't know when that's ever going to happen, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easier to size people up now when you just ask them, hey, because I'll run into it all the time at the bars. Oh, yeah, I did boxing for 6 years, man. I'm a hella good fighter. I'm oh, you ever do jiu-jitsu? Nah, man, but it doesn't bother me. I can hold my own. I'm Right. Yeah, sure.
I was that guy. Exactly. I could hold my own. Yeah. Until like, it's like a shark, man. To take you underwater, you can't do anything against it, man. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful art for sure.
Mm-hmm. So you said you traveled around a lot growing up. Where'd you come from?
I'm from New Hampshire originally.
Holy shit.
Yeah, way out there.
Yeah, it's cold.
Old New Hampshire. Everybody talks like this out there. Yeah. Let me tell you. Got a mean nor'easter coming in this weekend. And so I was born there. And then...
Was that right on the water, or was that in the woods a little bit more?
It was in the woods a little bit. I was born in Concord, New Hampshire. And from there, I moved to... my dad was just kind of the type who was... he was an ex-Navy SEAL. And without disclosing too much information, he was just a little bit like, a little off the top. So he'd come home and be like, pack your shit, we're leaving. Like, I quit my job, we're fucking okay. So within like a day or two, like, everything's packed, we're piled in a car, and we're moving to another state. You know what I mean? So I was like born in New Hampshire, moved to Mississippi, to Florida, to Colorado, and then back to New Hampshire. And that was all by the time I was like 12 years old. So,
nice.
I moved out here to Humboldt in 99.
Oh, shit.
Was the first time I came out here. I came out here with my metal band to take the West Coast by storm.
Yeah.
We were this East Coast hardcore band, called The Voice of Reason. And we were killing it back there, you know what I mean? We were playing some pretty big shows, and we had a little cult following, and I thought I was going to come out here, and we were just going to,
dominate.
Dominate, but... the West Coast is a little more laid back than the East Coast. I mean, we used to play shows where
Were you like guitarist, bassist?
Guitarist, yeah.
Nice, cool.
And the energy of these hardcore shows back East is just like, if you haven't experienced it, you have to. Like, people are like climbing over each other just to get like one chance to like scream a word into the mic, you know what I mean? And like these mosh pits that are just like intense, like people coming up after like, thank you so much, dude, you fucking rock, you changed my life. And like,
it changed my life.
And like, everyone's like chugging Jägermeister and Pabst Blue Ribbon, and then like just fucking going crazy. And then we come out here and throw down with that much energy. We went to Portland, is where I first moved to.
Oh.
And we got a couple gigs at the clubs and like a couple bars, and we're sitting there throwing everything we have into it, and there's like people with their little skinny jeans like sipping their microbrews, just kind of like like no reaction. I was like, tough crowd, man, you know. Right. So that kind of like, those dreams kind of disintegrated a little bit. And then my friend John, who I went to high school with out in New Hampshire, was living down in Humboldt, and like he called me, he's like, you're out in Portland? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'll be there in like 6 hours, man. And so he drove up here and started telling me about the weed thing that was going on in Humboldt. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool. So I came down here to pursue that.
Why'd you guys choose Portland?
Because it was like the cool spot.
Grungy, it was spot on the west.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. All right.
Thought it was a cool spot. And that whole industry's changed a lot for sure. Mm-hmm. Since back then.
What, here in Humboldt?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But you landed here and you're like, this is dope, and never left?
I did leave, actually. I left in 2004 and went back to New Hampshire to try to get my stuff together.
Yeah.
So I ended up, I tried some drugs that I probably should have never tried, and they like messed me up more than I ever thought drugs would, you know? Mm. And I didn't like really know how to get out of it. I ended up homeless in Humboldt County, like by myself, addicted to crystal meth. And it's not something I'm proud of, but it's just like, it kind of happened, you know?
Yeah.
The crazy thing to me about how it all happened is like I grew up kind of open-minded about drugs. Like my first like hallucinogenic experiences, like eating mushrooms and stuff, were really like mind-opening to me. You know what I mean? I always had this sense that like I was kind of being told a lie, you know? Like I didn't want to be part of this. I see the society, the system, like all the systems in place. I just like, I was questioning it, you know what I mean? And the first time I tried hallucinogens, it opened my mind to like a wider view of stuff. You know, I started to like look at trees and stuff. Like everything was like alive to me, you know. And anyways, I had some really positive experiences, some mind-opening experiences with hallucinogens and then like partying, having great times, doing some stuff like some ecstasy, sometimes doing coke and blah, blah, blah. But the first time I ever tried crystal meth, it was just like, it's a really like heavy drug, you know?
Super intense.
And so I always...
Did you do this after your band disbanded in Portland? And then you came down
we
here?
moved down to Humboldt. We had a little studio. We were still playing and playing little shows at like the Shanty and stuff. But we were actually recording an album in this guy's studio. This dude named Whitey. And he was trying the drug.
Dude named Whitey.
Yeah, Whitey dude. Yeah. And that was a game changer, man, because I was like, I was always open to trying whatever, you know what I mean? And so I was like, what's that? And he was like, it's speed. And I was like, what's it do? And he's like, hands me the pipe. So I was like, all right, tried it. And I tried it. And just to be completely honest, it was like the ultimate experience ever.
Damn.
I've always kind of been a little uncomfortable in my skin, you know? Mm-hmm. And that was like an instant, just like everything syncs up. And it's just like, this is how I've been wanting to feel my entire life. And I found it. And so, so once you feel that good from something, trying to put it down, it's not easy.
Yeah. Especially if you're in an environment where it's encouraged or people are just handing it to you.
Yeah.
So you got out of that. You're like, fuck, man, I need to go back to New Hampshire.
Yeah, I need to go back to New Hampshire. I need to get my shit together.
Well, that's good.
So I was like 260 pounds, like when I first tried that, and within like a month of it, I had already lost like 30 something pounds.
And like, fuck keto.
And the crazy thing is, I didn't even know about keto. This is way before, and that's kind of the progression of it. Is that, you know, part of why I was got so hooked on it is because I was like losing weight. You know what I mean? People were being like,
it made you feel good.
Hey,
made
you look good. You look
like,
great. And I'm like high as fuck. You know what I mean? Going like, really? Like, thanks for the compliment. This is something that's working for me. And it worked until it stopped working, you know? And I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I couldn't stop. So yeah, I went back to New Hampshire and I was living with my brother. And
how did you come to that moment where you're like, it's got to change. Like I have to change.
See,
like a lot
sitting
of people,
sitting on a corner bench in Old Town with a pint of ancient age whiskey and like, homeless with like a backpack and just going like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? I got to get out of this. You know what I mean? And so, I called home and said like, Mom, I need some help. You know what I mean? And she bought me a plane ticket and went back and just kind of cold turkey got off it, you know.
Amazing.
And then I came back out here in 2007.
A couple of years sabbatical, and you're like, I'll try it again. So
I missed the West Coast, you know.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier before we started, was just like the difference in mindset, you know. Everyone's just so like, it's like overly conservative back there. It's like, I mean, from anything, all the issues we have, from like homosexuality to like just even things like just doing something different. Like, I don't want to go to college. I want to do something, pursue something different. Like, it's just, it seems like there's no tolerance for it back there. Whereas out here, people are so much more open-minded to new ideas and lifestyle, like accepting of it, you know? Mm-hmm. Like if you were to, it's changed now for sure.
Yeah.
But like even something like coming out of the closet is something that's like a lot harder to do back there because just, you know, people are just like not tolerant of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird. So, I love the West Coast open-minded, progressive kind of lifestyle for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of people find that attractive.
Yeah. So what about you, man?
Well, I didn't do crystal meth and then,
yeah.
I mean, it's I've never, like, I've dabbled in, like I've done shrooms and some party drugs and things like that, but I never never occurred to me to try anything harder than that. I was never offered it.
Yeah.
And that's probably why, to be honest, I probably would have like, all right, fuck it. But, I'm glad that I didn't, cause that,
definitely.
Yeah, it would have been a wrong turn for sure. But yeah, no, I joined the Army right out of high school. So that kind of squared me away a little bit. And I still got in trouble when I was in the military, but it was, kept me straight.
Definitely.
And then when I came out here, I was just like, man, I want to fight. Like that's was a passion that I had growing up, and never had the gall to really pursue it. Just because the whole stigma around it, like you had to be some kind of gung ho dude to make it work. And by the time I got out of the Army, I was like a man enough to be like, you know what, I could do it. Like let's do it, because I did combatives, and so I learned jiu-jitsu when I was in the Army.
Yeah.
Simple stuff like arm bars and triangles and stuff. Nothing hardcore. And then when I got out here, I was living in Lake County, and my sister had gone to HSU. She grew up here, and she's like, oh, come up here, come to Lost Boys. She had gone to the gym a couple times and came up here, and I was like, hell yeah. Moved up here and been up here for like 3 years.
How long ago was that?
I think 2017, was my first.
Dang, so it hasn't been that long since you really immersed yourself in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you plan on going pro with the MMA?
Yeah, it's going to be, I still feel like a couple years out. Like I didn't grow up with any kind of stand-up experience. A lot of people, they boxed or did kickboxing or something like that. And so I had like a lot of sparring experience growing up. And now, like when I feel myself in the cage, everything's just like, as soon as it goes to grappling and goes to the ground, like I'm 100% more comfortable.
Yeah.
But still in the stand up, I'm like, oh man, like
anything can happen up there. Man.
Exactly. So I think a couple more. I mean, we got that new striking coach, Blackburn, and he's a genius. So I think
that's what Andrew's been telling me, that he's upped his striking game a lot.
Yeah, 100%. So I think I'm just gonna follow his tutelage, and he's gonna have a lot more input on when I'm ready, you know what I mean? Like, cause he's grown pros. He owned 2 gyms in Chicago.
Nice.
So yeah, he knows what needs to happen and what you need to look like and things like that. And so I'm just kind of
you take a pro fight and
exactly. And that's what I told Andrew too. I was like, cause he was wanting to go pro, like snip snap. And I'm like, bro, just follow under Blackburn and just kind of get his advice, cause like Andrew's good, don't get me wrong, but like when you go pro, you can only go pro once, make sure you're gonna do it right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of how I
and it takes a complete 100% just dedication, really, like where it's like an obsession,
right?
Like Brendan Schaub there was like on the Joe Rogan, how he's talking, they had this episode where he was like, Joe Rogan pretty much said like, dude, like, what are you're not even into it, and you know what I'm talking about, right? And so he pretty much just like pulled out of professional MMA fighting just so he could focus on like comedy and stuff,
Right. Yeah.
Because like if you're not like completely obsessed 100% into it, like it's dangerous, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's people that eat, live, breathe it like on a daily, and you end up in a cage with those people.
Yeah.
It's like you can get damaged for life quickly, it's not a joke, man.
Yeah, and so I hear some guys like, oh, you should go pro soon. I'm like, I'm not even there, like I'm nowhere comfortable enough. Like amateurs, we don't throw elbows to the face, no knees to the face. So it's not, like you still get fucked up as an amateur, but it's not devastating, if I get in there with like a savage.
Yeah.
So I want as many amateur fights as I can get until I feel that I'm super comfortable.
Yeah.
And like we were saying earlier, when you don't roll and you don't work out, you feel like, I don't know. For me, I feel like crap.
Yeah.
Like if I don't work out for a couple of weeks, which I haven't, I'm letting my elbow heal before I go to Thailand. Yeah. So I've only been doing cardio. I haven't done jiu-jitsu, I think once, but I don't know. I just feel I don't have a good day. Like my week just is more depressing than it was. But like if I'm in there and I'm running a couple times a week and I'm in the gym 4 or 5 days a week, I'm doing this, like I'm just busy and just going, then I feel great. But, my body can only take so much.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a huge part of me, pulling out of like training, because I started out kind of part-time, and then I got into it after like the first month, where I was going like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like every day of the week for a few weeks straight. Like it was actually started to like feel like I was progressing, you know what I mean? My whole demeanor changed, like just realizing that like I don't need to go in there and just like push as hard as I can. Like I would just go in there and try to survive, you know what I mean? Like when I learned about framing, like just keep my arms in, like don't let the, like, and just try to survive as long as I could. At first, like first week or two, it's just like I was like beating myself up, because not only was I getting tapped and choked like 20 times a class, you know, but I couldn't do anything to anybody, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I was judging my success on like, I know what an armbar is, but I can't get it on anybody. And like changed from that to just like I survived. Mm-hmm. Like I only got tapped 4 times that class. You know what I mean? Like that's good. Like, and so the longer I could survive without getting tapped, you know, and I started to learn a lot more just with the defense part of it. You know what I mean? Like just sitting there, like framed up, like letting them, oh, okay, he's trying to like start to understand what they're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it takes months to really get that feel.
I fucked myself up pretty bad at class. I don't think you were there for that one. I tried to go for this arm bar. It was really shitty, and I didn't have enough and he was standing up, you know, and I was on my back, and I reached up, I like wrapped my legs around his arm, and he was like hunched over me, you know, and he just started to like pull back, but I was like pulling it in, and then he just started to like stack me, and I had my knees up like over here, and was trying to pull this really, I didn't want to let go of it, had my knees over my head, and he just was like stacking, like trying to pull out, and then he just was like, boom, and I felt my back just like just popped, you know what I mean? Shit. I thought I was paralyzed, and my shit just went limp, and I was like, oh, let out some really like embarrassing ass noise, and he stopped, you know what I mean? I was just laying there twitching, like, oh shit, and dude, it was bad. Yeah. I walked out of there like this, man. It was like my hip was out like that, stuck. I couldn't get my pants on. I was like gimped out, and I got myself into my car, like still in my underwear, because I couldn't move my legs to put my pants on. Damn. Drove home in my underwear barefoot, and just like crawled into bed. I was like, oh. And I was out for like 2 weeks. Fuck. And I couldn't cook. I couldn't do anything. Like, and I was like, this sucks, man. This is sketchy. Like, this could like take me out, and I couldn't really afford to have like that much time lost, you know?
Yeah. I think that's a huge scare too. I mean, especially for me with fighting, like I've been on, well, unless the fighters pulled out, I've been on every card since I started for like last 2.5 years. Yeah. And the only reason I'm able to do that is because like I'm very particular about what I'm doing in the gym. If I'm going with a guy that's like twice my size and he's brand new, like I'm just super easy with him. Just like, hey buddy, it's all right. We're not doing anything. Okay. Just don't hurt me, you know, because people, they don't know that they're going to hurt you until it's too late. And you're just like, pop, you're like, oh, motherfucker. Yeah. And, you know, now you're out for a month or so. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm super, like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I just get really fussy about it. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. I'm really particular about, like, how hard I work and who I work with and things like that.
Yeah, I'm just glad I'm not that guy anymore. I was that guy for first like month or two of just like
you're just going, you're like no,
what are you doing, you know what I mean? Like,
but you don't know until you know. Exactly.
But it's cool. So like Andrew, I think Andrew's got a super awesome story, you know.
Mm-hmm. Did you listen to his podcast?
Yeah, I listened to his podcast, and you know, like to me, having been the down and out person who's like, I don't think there's anything more inspiring to me than somebody who obtains a level of success, you know, that comes from a background or, you know, or they're just dealt kind of a shitty hand of cards.
Right.
You know? And Andrew to me is just somebody like that, you know what I mean? Like he could have easily gone complete other direction, you know what I mean? But he took those like hardships and the stuff he went through and just like put it into something positive, and now he's at where he's at, you know? So like, we sponsor him, Keto Chef Meal Prep, like, and I give him like some free meals every week. And, I'm just like psyched to see his journey, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think it's cool that he's taking the time off to really just like make sure he's completely ready.
Yep.
But so yeah, anybody who's like, I don't think there's anything more inspiring to me than people who have like been knocked off, counted out. You know what I mean? Like I was that guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm not proud of my my history as far as like, no one wants to say I was hooked on crystal meth and homeless. Like that's not like, that doesn't have any clout to it at all. But like to be able to say that and then be like, and
but the story that follows,
I pulled myself out of it. You know what I mean? Like, and went, that's inspiring. And it's not
100%.
Not too many people get to like, there's not too many people that once they're that low can get back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it's amazing that you're able to do that though. Like what do you think was like a contributing factor to you being able to kind of reverse your situation?
That I'm a fighter, man. I really am. You know, I just don't like to know that something has power over me. You know what I mean? And like, it takes a long time for you to realize how much power something has over you. You know what I mean? And you try to like exert your will or like whatever to just, there's like, you know, a higher self that says, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to go this way. And you try to go that way and you end up right back there. It starts to happen and you go like, I just got angry, man. I got angry, you know, where I was like, fuck this. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that drug. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm more than this. And I just made a conscious decision that I was done, you know. Getting involved in 12-step programs definitely helped, you know, change my life. But yeah, I'm almost at 5 years completely off of everything.
Damn. And an entrepreneur to boot.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Congratulations, man. That's good for you.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
I'm psyched about this upcoming Ketosis fight.
Yeah. You get to go to the Mad River? Yeah, so Mad River Brewery out in Blue Lake, they sponsor Lewis, and so we're all going to go out there. They're going to show it at their restaurant or whatever.
Nice. That's tomorrow night.
Tonight. Is today Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, tonight. Yeah, you should go, dude.
I would love to come to that. I'm going to have my son with me tonight, so.
Bring him.
Yeah, he's 3.
Put earmuffs on him.
Yeah, I might do that actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's a restaurant / bar, you know. So
right.
yeah, it's a family place. It's not hardcore like dive bar. It's
yeah.
I think yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, bring him. That'd be cool.
I might do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those rolling with either one of those brothers is such a humbling experience, man.
Yeah, I know. Lewis, he was asking me to help him because I was the only other fighter there one of the nights. And he's like, oh, man, you can do some rounds with me. I was like, I don't know what I can do for you, dude. Like, you know, like, as soon he punches me once, I'm like in the wall, you know. So I'm like,
so strong, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy. Austin Moore is another one, man.
Yeah.
God, dude would piss me off.
Yeah, I remember the first time I sparred him, he just like, the first like left lead hook was just right on my chin. I was like,
yeah, I've never like stood up sparred with him, just rolling.
Oh yeah,
and, man.
Yeah, he's strong.
Just manhandle me, dude. It's like I was offended because like when you're like, hey, you got a partner, you want to roll, and people are like, oh, all right, let's roll. Like his demeanor was just so dismissive of me that I was just like, fucking like, you better pay attention to me.
I'm a threat.
Yeah, I'm a threat. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's so like, but he was just literally sitting like this, you know what I mean? Like and he was just like, started just sitting there, and I'm like, God. He's just like, dude, I swear he could have been having like 3 different conversations. He's just like joking, like, so quickly, like so easily, and I was just like, man, dick.
Dick.
But he's a beast, man. Like, I love watching that guy fight, man. It's cool. Yeah. He's got those standing guillotines. I think he's got 2 wins by the standing guillotine now.
Yeah, he's super
I'd be showing
strong.
my friends like, that's just, he just lets go and it's like, hop, whop. Sack of potatoes, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he brings out a crowd too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's entertaining. Yeah, he's good.
And he knows how to take a loss, which is cool, you know?
Yeah, that was a rough one. Man, that was rough to watch because he was just so pinned and he didn't have enough energy to like get back up, and so he was literally just kind of couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, from an outsider perspective, it's like, oh, dude, just get up, like, quit being a bitch. But I know that feeling when you have no energy and the dude's on top of you, like, you're spent, you know, you're just like, all right, well, this is it. Like, I'm going out like this, you know? And so, that sucked.
Yeah, but for him to, you know, grab the mic, address the crowd, and be like, this guy does not deserve to be booed right now. You know what I mean? That was pretty cool stuff. That was admirable.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he invokes a riot, you know, so he's got to be the one to calm down the riot too, because
sure.
they would go nuts.
But like, it is on my bucket list to get into a cage at least once.
Oh yeah, how old are you now?
I'm 42.
Oh, you're good,
I don't
brother.
feel 42.
Yeah, no.
And I still feel like I like, at least at a physical level, can keep up with a lot of people like half my age or whatnot.
Yeah.
I just, you know, in order to do that, I really need to just dedicate like at least 6 months to just like nonstop training specifically. Like, I'm going to get into a cage amateur and fight, you know?
Yeah.
But it's been something I wanted to do for a long, long time.
Dude, do it. It's not really like that bad, especially as amateur. Like I said, no elbows, no knees to the face. Like, so a lot less shit to worry about. Yeah. And then I guarantee you the very first fight, it's going to grapple. It's going to go to a grapple. Yeah. Guaranteed. Like it'll every single time, unless you get knocked out like the first hit, which, you know, probably not going to happen, but it's not that bad really. Yeah. And then as long as you, like, in my opinion, you can fight well into your 50s. It's just, you just got to fight somebody else that's, you know, also this similar age and similar kind of build and experience. You know, so like as long as your matchup is good, like you can, you know, MMA is like, it's good, man. You got this, dude.
Hopefully 2020 will be the year.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it. I got to do it at least once, you know. Mm-hmm. It's got to be a little scary to get in there for the first time, you know. Yeah,
it's a little nerve-wracking for sure, but you know, you've fought as a kid, you know. It's not any scarier than that.
Yeah, except we didn't have a cage when we were doing Taekwondo tournaments. Yeah. But that would be cool.
Yeah. Well, shit, dude, that's an hour right there, bro.
Damn.
I told you
that went hella fast.
Yeah. Hey, man, plug your business one more time. That's awesome.
Yeah, Keto Chef Meal Prep out in King Salmon, Eureka. We're located at 1125 King Salmon Avenue. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram at Keto Chef 1. Do weekly meal prep, desserts, pizzas, all things keto. So yeah, just reach out if you're interested in trying any of the meal prep.
Yeah, and can they do like a monthly budget plan or something with you, where they just pay you monthly and they get a whole, or is it bi-weekly?
It's a weekly thing. I put out a new menu every week, so
yeah.
I have customers that pretty much, you know, just pay for whatever. Come in like, here's 1,000 and whatever orders I need, I'll take care of that. Like, but there's no need to like really prepay. If you want to, you can. If not, so a lot of people start out with this full week thing, where they like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then within a month or so realize that their appetite goes way down and they're only actually needing 1 or 2 meals a day to get through. So that's kind of a negative thing with keto as far as it like decreases appetite. So
right.
But whatever.
As long as you're helping people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And when's the best pickup day, or is it any day?
Wednesday is the pickup day.
Okay.
I've got always like ice cream, bread, pizzas, stuff like that. Desserts available that you can stop at any time to the shop, like Monday through Friday, 10 to 6 usually.
Cool.
And just grab whatever.
Yeah, right on. Thanks, Glenn, dude. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tyler. I appreciate it.